Thanks for the support as a channel member, Adam Wheelhouse. Exciting news, folks. The board have announced our new stadium. Plans to be announced in 2 years for a 5,500 capacity. The first bit was exciting. Hello and welcome to part 95 of Bourne Again. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have 2 games in the Championship for you. We're away against McDon's and Notts County. In fact, this is the first 2 of 4 consecutive away games. Fixture setting, folk. How is this a thing that has come to pass? Have we just had a load of home games? Okay, we had 3 home games in a row, I guess. Fixtures are weird. But as you can see, it doesn't matter because we're winning most of them. We have lost our long unbeaten run. I think we were 18 games unbeaten when we lost the Bourne Derby against Bournemouth. Very sad too, a home defeat against a team below us in the league. Not ideal, but we responded in style with 3-0 wins over both Swansea and Barnsley, meaning that we are 16 games in and 5 points clear at the top of the league. Not only that, Lahif still the top scorer and best player by miles, and he's just agreed a new 3-year contract. It hasn't actually gone through yet. We've literally just done it. But any time now, we should have a new 3-year contract confirmed. His value is already up to 7 million quid. The contract does include 2 clauses we need to be aware of. A £9.25 million non-promotion release clause and a £12.25 million release clause for clubs in a higher division. Obviously, if we get promoted this year, neither of those clauses come into play, although I guess we do have the danger of going into January knowing that a Premier League club could come in and offer 12.25 million for him and he would go. And I think it's likely, I would suggest, if I was managing a mid-table Premier League club, looking at this guy who's apparently already a good player for most Premier League teams, 4.5-star current ability. He's better than anyone else in this division by a long way. 16 goals from 12 starts in the Championship, averaging a 7.68. The man is a machine. He's ridiculous. But 12 million quid will go down nicely anyway. So we either get to keep him long term, which is the goal, or we lose him for a huge amount of money rather than a smaller amount of money, which I guess is fine too. Although obviously we'd rather keep him because the other great thing about him is he's still only 22. He's going to get better and better. It's going to be ridiculous. There's your confirmation of what I was saying before the video started, though, about the new stadium. We finally got the option to ask. So ask I did. Sat down with Sir Mick Powell. Got very excited when he just immediately said yes. And then he sent me this email. He's left for the day now, so I can't challenge him on it. Very pleased to announce that plans are afoot to build the club a new stadium. Yes, Mick. Plans will be finalised within 2 years, by June 2035, and a capacity of around 5,500 is expected. So less than our current capacity. Mick, what's the point? I mean, obviously these plans are going to have to change if we get promoted this year, because I'm fairly confident there's a minimum capacity requirement for the Premier League. I'm now going to double check to make sure I'm not insane, but I'm sure we've had this issue in the past. Right, so minimum capacity is 12,500, all-seater, terracing not permitted, and undersoil heating required, which obviously we don't have either. So if we go up this year, we're going to be ground sharing for a year and building a minimum 12.5 capacity stadium on the side, which I guess we're going to have to move the schedule up for it a little bit as well, because we can't be sitting in the Premier League only starting plans a year after we got there. We need to have plans finalised this summer if we get promoted this year. And hopefully Simic is aware of that. He's also upgrading the data analysis facilities as well at a cost of £700,000. He's just throwing money around to try and get the infrastructure of this club sorted. And we are getting there. With a new ground on the way, we've now managed to get up to basic corporate facilities. Our training facilities are still not great, but we have average data analysis facilities that are going to be improved again. Average youth facilities. We've moved our youth level up to 3. Good academy coaching. Adequate recruitment. These aren't spectacular, but if you look back to where we were 3 seasons ago, this is huge off-field strides. And obviously a new stadium would only be an awesome extra part of that as well. We're still in the 8 figures for bank balance going into the middle of November as well. So everything looking pretty positive at the moment, including the league positions. So hopefully we can continue that with a win in today's game. So we're going with Hardy in goal, a back four of Cogni, Kjalic, Cruz and Reed, Hernandez and Aparecido in midfield, Bruce, Robinson and Ziyech behind Lahif up front. One of the most exciting things about this team is that there's only 2 lone players in it, because when you compare, again, looking back to how we were relatively recently, we're giving Gethin Rimmer, our youth goalkeeper, a squad number, because I've thought, you know what? Why are we not making every week I put a youth midfielder or a youth striker on the bench, like the best youth player makes it onto the bench? Why am I not just making the youth goalkeeper, the youth goalkeeper, our homegrown at club player, so I can then name 6 proper subs? Obviously, we then have a problem if Hardy gets injured, but it's no different to when we were down in non-league and we weren't having a goalkeeper at all. So it's just a risk you take. If Hardy gets injured, then oops, that game probably is a write-off. But I'm not. I think that's so unlikely to happen. It will happen in this game now, but it's so unlikely to happen in the grand scheme of things. I'm not that worried about it. And Ziyech has scored from a long throw. We talked about them yesterday. I think that's the first one we've scored since yesterday, so it's quite ironic that it's come up again in the video. The general consensus seemed to be it's not a hack. It's not an exploit. It's okay. It's no different to teams doing it in real life. It's just an extra weapon to add to our arsenal. We're a small club, and if we can get 5 goals a season through using long throws, then why wouldn't we? Why would we deliberately not do it when we know it can work? It's not like we're using a fancy downloaded tactic version of it. We've literally just told them that when we're in the opposition half, throw it a long way rather than deciding based on circumstances. And it seems to be working. What isn't working is that defending of the corner there. That was terrible. Hardy should have done better. But the defenders around the player who scored should have done better as well. It was just poor defending all round, really. And now, for all the good work from our long throw, we've now got to start again from 1-1, 25 minutes gone. It's Reed, who is really starting to establish himself as our right back in the absence of Lastra, who's been injured for a little while now. I know there's going to be calls from some of you to get Ansong into the team on that basis, but he's still only a 2.5-star current ability player. I know the only way he's going to get better is by playing him, but you know my views on artificially forcing young players into the team. If they're good enough, they force their way in themselves. Arnautovic, perfect example of that. I'm not in this for youth development. Ansong's on the bench on merit. If he gets into the team on merit and stays there on merit, then great. If not, then Ansong doesn't work out, and that's fine too. It's more important that we have the best 11 out there every week. We're pushing for promotion. We want our best team, and at the moment, Reed is doing a very good job at right back for us. He's averaging like a 7.2 playing at right back. So why would I not play him there? To me, it makes perfect sense. I know some of you really like to go deep on the youth development stuff when you're playing Football Manager. It's never really interested me very much. I'm more about getting the results, and if we happen to accidentally develop a youth player along the way, yippee. But it's never going to be my priority, because it's not the priority of clubs in real life either. Their priority is winning games. Ziyech with the cross, trying to find Bruce. Cogni's there, shoots from range. It's a good effort. It's saved. He's another example, though, of someone who's young and in the team on merit. I think he's 19 and has played every game this season because he's the best left back at the club. If Ansong wants to play more, he needs to become the best right back at the club. And being a 2.5-star player is not the way to go about doing that. We'll probably send him out on loan. I think that's probably the best option. Get him out on loan. Then he can go and play some games for someone else. And when he comes back, he'll either be good enough to play or not. Bruce is in here and should have scored. In fact, I thought he had scored. It's a good save from their keeper in the end. We've got a corner here. And we are approaching substitute o'clock as well. Lahif with the corner. Cruz is there. Can't direct it goalwards. And we've got a break on here. And we need to make sure that this doesn't result in a McDonald's goal, because that would be very troubling. There is Reed, again, showing exactly why he's in the team, because he is a very good right back. I'm always tempted to give him a run in the team as a centre-back, because he's such a good right back. Imagine how good he could be at centre back. But I've had a conversation with a lad and said, look, Alan, you're 5'10". You're really good at right back. I know you think you're a centre back, but we might have a bit of a Gary Neville situation here where I remember when Gary Neville was first breaking into the Man United team and the talk was all, he's playing right back now. Long term, though, he's a centre back. He was a right back his entire career because he was a right back. Alan Reid, you're a right back. I know I don't tend to look at this stuff, and this is where you lot are going to say, Kev, he can't cross, he can't dribble. He's not hitting any of the attributes to make him a right back, whereas at centre back, he hits all of the attributes, apart from he can't jump. So really, he might be a midfielder. He's more a midfielder than either of the other two, but who cares? He's a right back in my world because I don't care about those attributes. I'm seeing him play right back all season long. An average, it's a 7.03. It's not quite as good. It's a 7.14 when you add the cup games in as well. So it is a little bit closer to the 7.2 I thought it was. But he's been playing. We have played him at centre back a couple of times, but playing as that wing back, an 8.2. He got an 8.3 there. I like him. I don't know why I'm working so hard to justify not playing this guy who's still he's up to a 3-star right back now. Apparently the best right back at the club. I should look at that more often. Certainly before I go on a 5-minute rant about it. Re-record that. We'll be fine. No one will ever know that happened. Right, Aragonesis is going to come on. Whenever we bring him on, we just drop him back like that and play him as in fact, we want to play him on that side as one of these. And then he is going to have to be a little bit more attack-minded. As he's now our attacking more attacking central midfielder. Ricky Scott can come on for Bruce. I'm tempted to take Lahif off as well. We've got Santos down on the bench. What we might do is just go attack him, give it 5 minutes with Ricky Scott on to see if he changes things up. He's not, so now we can take off Lahif, bring on Santos, and just try with a different striker up there. Let's show some passion. We've got a corner. It's Robinson to take. Aiming at Cruz, and it goes just over. We've had some good set-piece opportunities today, but for whatever reason, it's just not coming off for us today, which is a little bit of a shame. Maybe we're going to do it with another long throw. It's Reid again. We scored from one of these early on. Reid hurls it into the area again, and there's our Parasido. And I'm ringing the bells even though I'm not streaming. It was an accidental bell ring. I promise you we're not top of the league just because of this. But he's got a good long throw on him, hasn't he, this boy? And that's two assists for Alan Reid, both from long throws. I promise we haven't been doing that every game. I don't even know how to prove that to you. I guess look at Reid's assists. That's a good way to prove it. He's only got 3 assists before that game. So it's not that he's constantly hurling the ball into the area. Well, we did get away with that today. Long throws ahoy! So Notts County then, I know there's a very, very strong argument now for starting Ansong over Reid. Now we've discovered he's officially the best right back at the club. But Reid got 2 assists in the last game and his long throw was really, really dangerous. So on that basis, can't drop him. So Reid stays in. I have rotated Oporenko in ahead of Kalic. Kalic down to 90% condition. A few of these players starting to tire because the games are starting to come thick and fast. It's only a few days since we played our last game, but Oporenko can just come in for Kalic without damaging the setup too much. And David Leonardo now fit enough to come in and return as well. So Ziyech drops down to the bench, and Leonardo coming back in on that right-hand side, who's had a couple of injury spells already. He looks very, very dangerous when he's not injured, but I think he's got a bit of a dodgy hamstring. Because he pulled his hamstring middle of September, came back, played 1 game, pulled his hamstring again. He's now been out for another month. It's now the middle of November. He's due his monthly hamstring pull. And if it goes again, we have to start questioning, no matter how good he is, there's a screen somewhere that I'm looking for that shows me if he's got a weakness. But I can't remember where it is. Oh, medical report. We'll go there in a second. Does it mention he's injury prone? No. Medical report. He's got a high injury susceptibility based on a history of various injuries. but we don't have. There's no dodgy hamstring mentioned on there, so hopefully it's not a recurring thing and it's just bad luck. Perhaps it was opposite hamstrings. That's information we don't necessarily get. So fingers crossed, opposite hamstrings. He'll be fine now, but we'll see how he gets on in this game. Right, team report, not team report, team talk. Fully expect you to keep your run of form going because we are the form team in the division. Notts County are rock bottom of the league, 11 points so far this season compared to our 43. So I'd like to think this is a game we should be able to win, although, of course, Lahif not really putting in a performance in front of the cameras again in the last match. That being said, we've just won a penalty, so this will be Lahif stepping up to take this. Having your top scorer on penalties, always a good way to keep his goal-scoring confidence up, as long as he scores them, and he has. And it's 1-0. Lahif, with his 19th goal of the season now, puts us 1-0 up at Notts County. I almost called them Man City, and I don't know why. Pretty sure they're different clubs. Both the smaller club in their city. Oh, no, you didn't. There's already... I apologise for both parts of that. But, you know, the Man City fans already all hate me for what has happened in non-league to legend. Now I've absolutely scared them. Where if you're a Man City fan and you're still here, well done. You have a high pain tolerance, which I guess you need as a Man City fan. Stop it, Kev! For goodness sake. Let's change the subject entirely. Behind this goal in the corner, it looks like there's a burger van on stilts. We need to get back into the corner so we can have a proper look at it. Here you go. But it's not. It's just further back, Kev. It's not high up. It looked like it was up on a level of the TV screen. It's not. It's behind the TV screen. What they've used there is perspective. Well, at least, I mean, it was changing the subject. That's a positive, I guess. Right, Notts County with the corner. Cruz probably could have headed that anywhere. Electing to head it back to the guy who took the corner, probably not the best piece of defending I've ever seen, but between Arnautovic and Hernandez, we've got away with it. Lahif is clear on this left-hand side here. Cross comes in, Leonardo's there, and Leonardo has been looking dangerous, heads it straight at the goalkeeper though. Luckily his hamstrings seem to be holding up at the moment, but I think both of those clear-cut chances, I guess one of them was the penalty actually, but the other one I suspect is that header that he's just had there. Reed, I was just about to criticise him for poor defending, then he came back with a lovely tackle, but it did also act as a through ball and directly led to the goal. I don't know what to do about right back. Lastra's almost back to full fitness. Reed is the man in possession and has been playing well. But then there's Ansel. We've got 3 good right backs. It's not a bad problem. It's a good problem to have, as long as I pick the right one. And I don't know that I am at the moment. I guess the big argument for Ansong is that he's young and there's Premier League clubs that want him. So he's probably got the highest potential. So maybe after all that talk, all that long rant, all that talk about not wanting to worry about developing players, maybe Ansong just needs a run of games to show me that he's really, really, really good. Right, let's get assertive because we should be winning against Notts County. We're clear at the top. They're clear at the bottom. It should be clear that this is a game that we should win comfortably. But we limped past MK Dons in the last match. And now we're struggling again against Notts County. I hope that defeat we had 3 or 4 games ago hasn't hit our confidence. Look at the state of this with the yellow cards as well. What is going on here? Right, let's bring Ansong on. Let's do that. And then looking at the rest, I mean, we could bring any one of a dozen of these on now. I guess Leonardo is an obvious one to bring off because of his recent injury problems. And he's only on a 6 as well. That's really poor. We're going to go attack him. We've changed the entire right-hand side of the pitch. It's now Ansong and Zajic taking on that right-hand side. We're having a very close look at Ansong here to see if he's the man for us. Bruce also playing really poorly. So we've got Ricky Scott who can play on either wing, who'll come on for him. It means another day without our record £2.5 million signing Santos getting a game. But I couldn't anticipate Lahif. Maybe some of you could. I couldn't anticipate Lahif being as good as he is. And if I had have been able to, I wouldn't have spent the money on Santos. But I guess I look like a real genius if Lahif goes for 12 million in January and then Santos comes into the team then and just continues where he left off. Then I look like not just a genius for finding Lahif and always knowing he was going to be great, but also for having his replacement already at the club before I sell him for loads of money. That's the perfect scenario that makes me look really smart. So that's the one that I want to happen. What is going on here? We've had a terrible game. A pretty poor 2 games, really. We're creating, I mean, we've had 3 clear-cut chances, 22 shots, 61% possession. Worryingly and weirdly, we're playing well, but we're not scoring goals. I worry about this guy. Now he's been offered his big money long-term contract. Tell me that's not broken him. I have had that happen with players before. He was playing out of his skin for a bigger money, longer contract. Now he's got one. He's going to get complacent. I don't know if that's even a thing or if that's all in my head, but we offer him a contract and then the next 2 games he's not performed. And we've suffered massively because of it. Right, this is our last chance. Long throw City again. Anson can't hurl it as far as Reed. That's another point in the Reed column. Ziyech wins the ball back nicely there, though. We've got 30 seconds to grab a very late winner that I would say we deserve, but Notts County would feel harshly done by if it happened. And it's not happened. We've got 3 seconds left now. Unless he just turns and kicks it into his own goal. We ain't scoring. That being said, we've won the ball back here. It's with Robinson. Well, that was an episode full of ups and downs. I'm going to get aggressive about that because we can't play like that. That was pathetic. And if we're going up as champions, if we're going up at all, we can't have any more games like that this season. We just can't get away with it. Right, we've been fined for our ill discipline as well. I'm furious. The players are furious. And now hopefully they respond in the next game and we don't start hitting a patch of poor form because that will upset me. Right, we'll be back tomorrow with the FA Cup 3rd round and probably the Bourne Derby because it's always a fun game unless one of these becomes more important by then. I do like the FA Cup 3rd round though, which apparently is happening the same day as the Bourne Derby, so it won't be both. So FA Cup 3rd round game and then a game either side of it, one of them. And that will be a lovely time had by all. And hopefully we'll still be top of the league and getting ready for another long FA Cup run to make more monies. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.